It's been a while since I've updated anybody about this car. I ended up doing the bumpers and doors, took all that stuff off the car, prepped them, sanded them, blocked them, primed them, fixed anything that needed to be fixed on them. I did that a while back. I mean, it's probably been a good 6 months or so, maybe even more. And they've just been pretty much just hanging here with the fenders and the bumpers ready to get painted. But I've never actually updated anybody about the car process I'm doing. I have been working on the engine bay. Obviously, I've gutted it. Everything's out of it that needs to be out of it in order to do a paint job and do all the stuff I'm doing to it. So what I've started doing initially was welding up and shaving holes that were not necessary. These engine bays have really two big old oblong holes here because of the canisters for the AC system sit in them. There's a hole over there about the same size but just one, and then all the unnecessary holes that I am not using anymore, and some of these spot welds you can see that I've got fiberglass on them. So I've been busy welding this thing up. I guess what you call like it's not really a full shave, but I'm getting rid of the stuff that I want to get rid of to clean it up, smooth it out a little bit better. The upper tie bar here, it's getting the same treatment. It takes a lot of time to do something like this because you pretty much have to figure out what you can and cannot weld up as far as holes. So you almost have to build, put everything back in the engine bay once you tear it all apart to figure out where you want to, what you want to weld up, what you don't want to weld up. So it takes a very long time to do that. Welding, it took a while as well because I wanted to make sure it was as nice as I can get it and it's going to last for a very, very long time. So it just took me a while to get it to this point, and then I proceeded on to prepping the whole engine bay. You can see everything's been sanded. Now this is really, really important. This is the reason why I tear everything apart on cars that I do. It's because I want my paint to last for as long as it can, right? Obviously it's paint, it's gonna chip. There's gonna be some things that might hit it, gouge it. It's paint. It's not, and so it's gonna get damaged if you're gonna drive your vehicle, right? It's not something that can't be bulletproof. So my job is to make sure I get all the little trinket stuff, all the wiring, everything that you can get out of the engine bay, get it out of the engine bay so you can get behind all the little crevices, everything. You can get inside of there with, your sandpaper or your Scotch-Brite, whatever you're using to prep the surface with, and get your, sand DA in there and sand it down, because that's what's going to ultimately hold paint, right? Because if you would just leave this, let's say this brake booster here, if you would just leave this brake booster on, you would have to tape it up. And that brake booster goes all the way down here, up and around. So that's a big area that you're leaving with the hard edge, essentially. You can't get behind it if you leave it on. And that's the biggest thing about painting a car is making sure your prep work and you can get to every little thing and sand it. It's the same thing with these door handles, right? If you would leave the door handles in and just Scotch-Brite as good as you can around them, you're leaving this whole edge unprepped. You're leaving it shiny. And what that's going to do eventually is going to start peeling at that seam because you did not get all the way in there. So it was a really big job to make sure everything was teared up. I've done this already once. So this is my second time tearing down this engine bay on this car because obviously I painted it orange before, and now we're painting a different color. So I've done this already once, so I'm pretty familiar with doing this to these cars. It just takes a lot of labor. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. And the more junk you have in the engine bay, the longer it's going to take you. But I've already minimalized as much as I can on this engine bay when I repainted it. So everything that's going back in there, it's going to be, I've already done it once, so it's not too big of a deal for me. But you definitely want to make sure you tear everything apart, because you are going to have, you don't want to go through. I always tell people you don't want to go through all this work. I have tens of hours. I probably have close to 100 hours just in this, what you're seeing right here. So I don't want to go through all this work and all this trouble making it look nice if I'm not tearing stuff apart and making sure the paint's going to stick to it. So that's the biggest thing with me is, a little bit of OCD, but making sure everything is prepped. Even in my engine bay, underneath the wheel wells, everything is smoothed out, painted, so it can get painted again. Even doing body work on the underside, because this car I'm taking a little bit further than what I did last time. This is going to be my last time I'm painting this car, hopefully. I don't plan on doing it again, but so I want to take it to that next level. Like, obviously I'm going to drive it, it's not going to be full blown like show car trailer queen type build, but I am taking it to that level. Like, I want people to look inside the wheel wells and see that, they've been painted too, or if I'm doing graphics, they're going to have graphics on them. It's going to be all that. So I want people to see, because I'm not putting the splash shields back in, the liners. All this will be exposed. So when I do take it to like a local show or whatever, or if I'm just driving it and somebody comes up and walks on it and looks at it, everything is going to be painted. It's going to be clean. Like I said, other than like the rock chips that it's going to get, obviously inside the wheel well, it's going to get a little bit of nicks from the tires flowing, rocks and stuff and debris up on the road. But I've already painted this once, and I was really, really surprised with how well this held up, with how much I've driven it, how hard I've been driving it when it was running. Because I didn't really see, there was like 2 or 3 little rock chips inside of here. Obviously I put 3 coats of clear on this before, so it did have some layers of protection on it. But this clear that I use, it's really, really awesome. It gets hard obviously, but it does stay on the softer side, so things tend to bounce off of it. So I'm going to be using it again on this entire car. But you can see how far I've taken this thing. I still have to cut the windows out of it. They're still in there. I just usually try to wait till last minute because they're big and I don't want to break them. So leaving them laying around, I usually wait till last minute to tear those off. But you can tell how far I tear things apart. It's pretty much all gutted. Everything's getting repaired that needs to get repaired. Yeah, so this is what I've been doing, guys. It's been a long, long process, but we are slowly getting there. And this kind of makes, since I'm done prepping the car, I am going to take, I want to take some 320. I'm going to sand the whole car again once I get everything in primer. Because this car does have a lot of, when I did the green paint job, it had a lot of layers of paint on it. So there's still a lot of room where I can still block it down to get some more of that paint off of there. So I'm going to do that one more time after I get everything primered, just to make sure it's 100% straight and smooth. I didn't miss anything. And then I'm going to clean it off, and then pretty much it's going to be ready for paint. But it is going to be another crazy paint job. Not going to say what it is, what color it is, what I decided to do. You're just going to have to wait and see until the very end. So hopefully in the next month or 2, maybe 3, depending how far along and fast I move on this, to see the actual finished paint job. It is going to take me a good while to paint it from what I'm going to be doing to it. And it's just going to take me a while. So sit tight. You'll see the finished product when you see it. Another thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be welding up the door handles. So the doors are going to be all shaved, so I still have to do that to 4 doors. But other than that, we're on to the bodywork side of it. Pretty excited, but this is what I've been doing.